Hello everyone, I'm the Trophy Wine Hunter. Excited for you to join me on my new YouTube channel, the Alsace Wine Journey. I'm really excited, this is my first review of a wine from Alsace region. We're gonna learn together from the start. And I'm exceptionally excited about the first review because it's a really nice wine that I was surprised to get at the BC liquor stores. It's the Gustave Lorentz 2019 Dry Riesling Reserve. We don't get a lot of wines in BC from the Alsace region. Hopefully, when we as a group collectively discover these wines and can promote them more, then we're going to get better wines. They're really great food-friendly wines, so that's why I think it's a great region to discover. Again, very excited to see this in the liquor stores. It's a brand new product. It's not even on the BC Liquor Store website. Below in the comment section, I'll give you the code number in case you want to ask for it. I got this at 39th and Cambie store in Vancouver. It's priced at $29.49. Okay, a little bit about this winery. Established in 1836, they had a long history even before that of being innkeepers, and they then focused their business in the later part of the 19th century to exclusively be like wineries. They hold 33 acres of land in Bergheim, which is, if you look at a map of Alsace, it's kind of in the middle of Alsace. So this is the whole Alsace region. It's kind of in the middle here, Bergheim. And of that, about 12 acres, 13 acres is Grand Cru in, it's called Altenberg. And then another 2 acres is Grand Cru in Kanzlerberg. We'll talk, the Alsace system is a little bit confusing in terms of Grand Cru and AOC, but I can explain that a little bit later in this video. They also buy grapes from about another 120 acres of wineries exclusively in Bergheim. It's now managed by George Lorentz, who is the 7th generation wine grower. So this has been in the family for over 7 generations. He has 3 daughters, so they'll be the people that take over. And if you'll see with some of my other videos, and we see a trend of more females get involved in the wine industry and being winemakers and wine growers. And I think it's an exceptional advantage to have that female presence in the winemaking process, and with a lot of great wineries that have female winemakers at the helm, they've done really well. So I'm just saying that as a fact, but I'm not making any postulations about that. At the end of the 19th century, Gustave Lorentz, who I guess the winery is now named after, really focused the business of the company into winemaking. So it used to be more like, innkeepers, other businesses, but they just focused on winemaking. However, during that period of time, there was a lot of trials and tribulations. They had some bad vintages. Alsace was annexed by Germany, and the grapes were used for bulk winemaking, and phylloxera ravaged this area and most of the world in 1905. But that's okay. They started to, originally when they started out the business, they were buying grapes from good producers. They had the foresight of starting to buy their own vineyards, and they actually bought vineyards that are on the slope. And so this Grand Cru system in Alsace only started in 1975, but in 1983, Bergheim and Kanzlerberg were designated Grand Cru status. And so they had some great sites on the slopes, and that was great. They were certified organic in 2012, and again, just as a statement, in general, what I see is that a lot of wineries that are going organic, their wines are actually improving and actually taste a little bit fresher. I don't know the exact scientific reason for that, but that's just my own observation that in general, that's what's happening with wineries. Let's talk a little bit about this wine by itself. It is kind of interesting with Alsace. when it's labeled Riesling, it has to be 100% Riesling. And so there are certain wines that are labeled certain ways that are not, but in general, this is really interesting as compared to other places in the world, like Napa. If you say it's a Cabernet Sauvignon, they can have a certain percentage of other grapes. That doesn't happen in Alsace. If it says Riesling, 100% Riesling. If it says Gewürztraminer, 100% Gewürztraminer. There's other labeling that you can have. It's a AOC wine, so it just says Vin de Alsace. That's okay. In other places in the world, you have like a lot of this hierarchy. In Alsace, it doesn't really matter. Most of the wines are Vin de Alsace are DOC wines, about 71%. 25% of the wines in Alsace are Cremant d'Alsace, which is kind of their version of sparkling or champagne, sparkling wine. And then only about 4% is Grand Cru, but that's also very contentious, and it doesn't mean the same thing, I think, that we think. So again, that's the beauty of these wines. Even though they're considered AOC or Vin de Alsace, they could be really good quality. And so it's the more knowledge you have, the better it is. It's really a region where it pays to know your wines. This, even though it says reserve, is really their entry level of wine. They have a lot of Grand Cru things, but it'll be interesting to drink. Again, I'm going to focus a little bit more on the terroir than I do on my other sites because it's really new to me and everything here is interesting. All the grapes from this are taken from the Bergheim region. It's on clay and limestone, and with Riesling, terroir really affects the taste of Riesling. And so that's why Alsace is such an interesting region to drink from, because if you have soil Riesling grown in different soils, it's going to taste different, which is really exciting. So again, most of this is limestone and clay, so that's going to give you more citrusy and lime elements. It is a dry style, and I like that they actually put that down on the label. It says dry wine. A lot of people in BC will be familiar with Riesling, which is much sweeter. Also German Riesling, much sweeter. And so this is dry style. That doesn't mean it's not fruity. It's dry in its taste, and it's very friendly for food pairings. Let's take a look at the label. Again, you see it says Vin de Alsace. It's established in 1836, Gustave Lorentz. Riesling, it's a dry wine. It says reserve, but I don't think really reserve means very much. It's actually their entry-level wine, 2019. It is a screw top, and that's typical of a lot of what they call entry-level Alsace wines. Let's look at the color of the wine. Light yellow, almost straw yellow, pleasant, clear, so what you would expect from a young Riesling. Now for the tasting of the wine. Let's try the aroma. Very pleasant, maybe a little bit of white flower taste, like acacia, a little bit, not much fragrance in terms of floral fragrances, but you do smell a lot of citrusy elements. Not like tropical, but more like lemon, lime, that type of stuff, grapefruit. That's what I smell. On the taste, good acidity. I'd say surprising body. I would say kind of medium plus body. Really quite nice. A little bit of oiliness, which I didn't expect with Riesling, because I'm used to more like BC style, sweeter Riesling and German style Riesling. Alcohol content is about, I think it's 12.5, but it's good. It's medium alcohol. But the thing that surprises me about this wine is the weight of it. It's heavier than what I would have expected with a Riesling. Yeah, great acidity. I had this last night with a meal. It really does well with any type of Asian cuisine, fish, grilled fish, salads, cheeses. I think the acidity and the weight of the wine really helps it with food. So even if you go to like chicken and pork, I think it'd be excellent with all these. My final thoughts on this wine, I really like it. It's my first wine that I've reviewed on this site. Really enjoyed it. My rating of this, I don't think it's rated at all in Wine Spectator, but my rating, 87 points, and people will say, well, that's low and I don't like the wine. That's not true. If you look at my other YouTube channels, great drinking wines between 86 to 90 points are really, to me, great drinking wines. When you get 95 plus wines, those are really wines you have to put down for like 10, 15 years before you can really drink them. And so don't worry too much, like don't take too much of the rating. That really means to me, I think it's a great wine to drink. I don't think you can age this too long. I think it's kind of like, I would drink it now, maybe keep another 2 years at the most. Gustave Lorentz has other higher end wines, which hopefully I'll have a chance to review in the future, which of course I think the ageability will be much longer. But this wine is a great drinking wine. Surprised me in terms of the oiliness and the weight of the wine in a pleasant way. But I hope you guys, I encourage you if you're in BC to go out and get this wine and show in the liquor stores that there is interest in this type of quality product. Until next time, happy drinking.